What the fuck is this?
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Welcome to another edition of PSVR News. On today's edition, I don't have the fancy edits and whatnot, so we're going to have to wing it live. But just want to make sure everything's up and running, that the microphone levels are good. We got Daniel in the chat. How you doing, Mr. Daniel? Smash the thumbs, thank you very much. Or your dreams may get worse, says Daniel, if you don't do that. So there you go. Zach Wilder says, am I a Pavlov fan now? I think I'm becoming a Pavlov fan. Who was that? Is that lag? Am I looking laggy? I feel like I'm a bit laggy here, lads. I thought the RAM was going to fix this. Geisen is here and he's moist. So is everything okay volume-wise, lads? Because we got a lot to talk about, so I don't want to waste too much time setting up the stream. There's a lot of juicy, moist-inducing PSVR news. A little bit of sadness regarding Firewall Ultra. A small little bit of sadness. We're still fine. We're still happy. Everything's all good. Donnie says volume good. Thank you very much, Donnie, for letting me know. I appreciate that. And without further ado, we'll jump into our special feature episode. This just PSVR News Edition only has one topic today, but it's a big topic, and there's lots of topics within that topic. So there's many topics, really. Darren Green says, Gran Turismo 7, yes. Darren Green's a happy man. There's a lot of happy people out there today. A lot of happy people. Understandably, we got Great Tantrum. Great Tantrum. I was going to say Tantum. Hello all, how you doing? Okay, let's jump into it, because you might not know what we're talking about. And the ticker rolling on the bottom of the screen there is fairly slow. So let me pop up this. Hopefully it's legible to you. But even if it's not, I'll be reading this out loud, so don't you worry. What you're looking at here is a picture. This picture has within us, is the exact number there, more than 30 games that are all coming out in the PSVR 2's launch window. Now, a lot of these are day one, but some of them are up to a month afterwards. I think they clarify that. But we'll read it. We'll get into it. This is casting a bit of a light on me over here. We'll turn that off. Okay. More than 30 games on track for release starting February 22nd. And as you know, lads and ladies, it is January 19th now. So just over a month away. This is from Sean Benson. I think I'm saying that name correctly. Shawnee, perhaps, but I think it's Sean. And this person is the director, head of portfolio at Global Third Party Relations. So, back in November, we revealed 11 titles coming to PlayStation VR 2. So if you remember that, that's when they revealed Switchback VR, and there's a bunch of other games, Hello Neighbor, all that stuff. It's in a blog post similar to this one. And today we're excited to not only reveal 13 more amazing games to the PSVR 2 library, but also confirm titles expected to arrive within 1 month of the February 22 launch. So, all of these within 1 month, you'll have your hands on them, if you want them. We are currently tracking more than 30 games for the launch window through March. And there's a little asterisk beside that, because everything, of course, is subject to change. But it's looking like that's what's going to happen. Including titles from popular IPs like Horizon Call of the Mountain, No Man's Sky, and Resident Evil Village. A free PSVR 2 update for Gran Turismo 7 is also on track for launch day. A quick update from Petrifying, which is the studio who make Gran Turismo. And this is the first kind of big celebration situation going on here. But before we read that, let's get into the chat again. Darren says his rig is ready. I assume he means his Gran Turismo 7 rig. He's probably got the wheel, the cockpit, the shift pedals, and all that stuff. Great Tantrum says 37 confirmed games for launch window. There you go, 37. It's practically 40, really, when you think about it. All these smooth brains can't read, says Donnie. I'm sorry, Donnie. That's why I read for you. And Rogue is here. Good morning, Rogue. Top of the morning to you, mate. Chairface, how you doing? Yo, Big Pump. What it do? It do be a good day today, Chairface. So I'm happy. We're excited. Muzz over here from Canada saying no Firewall Ultra on the list, unfortunately. But there's a bit of a substitute for Firewall. I don't know if it's going to be a good substitute or maybe like a Wish.com version of Firewall, but it remains to be seen. We'll get into it. We'll be watching trailers. Don't worry, there's a lot to see. Donnie waving to people, everyone waving to people, thumbs up. Good, everyone's having a good time. That's what I like to see. So let's get this message from Petrifying out there. And a bit of a screenshot as well from the virtual reality mode, as you can see. Uh, Eagle eyes out there are people who are like really into Gran Turismo 7. They're probably looking at this. They're probably seeing downgrades. You'd imagine something has to give. But from my view here, it looks pretty nice. I think, you know. Obviously, in the headset, it's going to be a different situation. It's going to be a lot more clear, a lot more sharp. You're going to have the HDR. You're going to have the foveated rendering. I wonder how much of that gets lost in translation to a simple screenshot on a blog. Anyway, we're thrilled that Gran Turismo 7 will be a PSVR 2 launch title through a free upgrade, which we already knew, but still, nice to say it again. For those who have already purchased Gran Turismo 7, players will experience all cars and tracks in VR like never before. Gran Turismo 7 in VR takes full advantage of PSVR 2's next-gen features with eye tracking and foveated rendering. I assume they're combined together when he says that, and well, maybe eye tracking works separately. I might do different features. We'll have to wait and see. Like maybe like selecting things in the menus and whatnot. Players will experience stunning visual fidelity while racing in any of the 450 plus cars, while two-player split screen, races are not supported in VR. All other races, including online, will be available. From the Nürburgring to Tsukuba, tracks can be experienced exactly as they are in real life. And that's from the president of Polyphony Digital, Kazunori Tamagotchi, or whatever. So that's excellent news. First off, Gran Turismo fans around the world rejoicing. I'd say there's a lot of people who weren't even sure they were interested in in virtual reality, who are big fans of Gran Turismo, or who are thinking, okay, I want to be in these cars, I want to be on these world famous tracks, and that's probably going to move some headsets, no doubt about that. Pardon me if you hear children screaming in the background. I assure you it's on your end. There is no children in my house. Tantrum says, I hear Pavlov is amazing and that VR2 owners will enjoy it. I hope you're right. Darren Green says, I just heard full game. My head exploded. There you go. Auntie Evening Pumpkin, how you doing, Auntie? Good evening to you. And Taznik Gaming, how you doing, Mr. Taznik? Hope you're well. How's it, dude? Sounds awesome. Bring it on, eh, dude? Exactly. Bring it on is right. Can't wait. Great Tantrum. And so it's just a month away. This is the exciting time. This is the part I really enjoy. You know? When it actually comes out, it's going to be disappointing. This is the good one. It's not going to be disappointed. But you know what I mean. The hype. This is it. You know? It's all like Christmas morning. It's Christmas morning every day for the next month. Muzz says, but how many players can play at the same time in an online race? I'm not sure in like flat mode, but I assume 12, maybe 16. Could be 32. I don't really know, to be honest with you. Maybe another Gran Turismo expert in the chat can answer that question. Or simply Google us. I'm sure it's available on Google, because whatever it is on flat will be the same in online. Otherwise, I'm sure they would have specified it. Otherwise, that's false advertising, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that they're not falsely advertising anything here. Taznik is excited for PSVR 2. Donnie says, racing in VR is awesome. I would just want the driving setup for the fullest immersion. It would be insane, but they're very, very expensive to get a proper setup. You're talking more than the VR headset itself. The lineup is looking awesome, eh, guys, says Taznik. It is indeed. It's not bad. It said full game, says Darren, so there you go. I hope that's the case. I think it is the case, and Chairface has got the moisture flowing. Which is what I like to see. Now let's get into these 13 new games. This one is called Before Your Eyes. Let's read about it before we go into it. Embark on an emotional and award-winning adventure where you control the story and affect its outcomes with your real-life blink. So straight away, well, I don't know if this is day one, but launch window, we'll say day one. We've already got a game taking advantage of the PSVR 2's eye tracking. Now, of course, the eye tracking is limited. Like, it's not available on any other headset other than, you know, the couple of super high-end stuff like the new the Quest Pro or whatever. So that the fact that this is already ready to go, I wasn't expecting a game like this to be ready to go. I understand it's a port of something else that was using. It was using eye tracking originally, but like as a camera eye tracking. I never heard of it before, but apparently it's very good. award-winning, like it says. Unique VR experience, you will fully immerse yourself in a world of memories, both joyous and heartbreaking, as your whole life flashes before your eyes. The game uses the PSVR 2 headset's front-facing camera to immerse you in a way you've never experienced before. You will learn to control the flow of the narrative with your actual eyes, blinking through precious memories of family, first love, and the rise of an artistic career, ultimately revealing a heartbreaking truth. Let's give this a peep. Oh, loud.
So I'm gonna ask you
Skybound.
to start from the very beginning.
Are you getting volume? Maybe you're not.
Every time you blink,
You should
you're
be.
going to jump forward in time. Could be a second, could be 5 years.
Alright, so it's an indie looking situation we got on here. Not cutting edge graphics, but the fact that it's controlled with eyeballs, I think that can add a lot to us. In terms of, you know, giving you something you've never experienced before. Maybe it's not day one for you, but maybe it's something you pick up when you want to change, you know?
Is that really you? It's Chloe, your neighbor.
How are you, Chloe? My neighbor.
Only way to fight against time is to create a work of genius, which might live on after you're gone.
Alright, listen, not doing anything for me personally. Not moving my needle. Boss, that's not to say it won't move somebody else's needles out there. Utilize the eye tracking. Nice, says Tasnik. Great Tantrum says, already have my G29 wheel system for Gran Turismo 7. Just need a PS5 and VR2. Money tight these days for me, but you got a month. You have a month, Great Tantrum, to sell a bit of crack cocaine on the streets. Of course, you have to buy the crack cocaine first. I understand it's a vicious cycle. You need cash somewhere, though. Looks like Rez is going to also, says Tasnik. We'll read up on that in a sec, hopefully. Muzz says, I got my wheel all set up and just trying to unlock some cars before it launches. That's kind of what I'm doing, except I'm just using the DualSense. Although I'm tempted to think that this could be better. You can use the motion control within the controller, and then you don't lose the haptics, because the haptics in Gran Turismo are kind of some top-notch haptics, I think. And it would be kind of sad to lose that on a wheel. It'll be a sacrifice that you wouldn't want to make. Of course, it's hard to beat the wheel as well. Chairface says, Res will be so much better with eye tracking. Aiming with your head was a pain. And Tasnik says, nice one, Tance. No, sorry, that's a reply to Tance. I shouldn't read that. Thumper as well. Thumper's in the mix. I didn't even see Thumper. Tantrum says Thumper also. I wasn't aware of that. Donnie says, no, I know at least one of my neighbors. There you go. There you go. You got a new friend. This game will give you some new friends, new neighbors, new memories, a new life. Next up is Kayak VR. We knew about this one, but I don't think we had any kind of a window. I don't know if we knew it was there day one or not. This one I'm actually really excited for because it has some of the best visuals you will see in a VR game. Paddle through the ice caves in Antarctica. What did I just say? I don't even know what I said. Antarctica. Kayak with dolphins in Costa Rica. Conquer a thunderstorm in Norway and discover the canyons of Australia. Where Rogue, are you lurking in them canyons in Australia? Explore these breathtaking locations with photorealistic graphics, a rich variety of wildlife, and immersive soundscapes that bring it all together. So if you're one of those people who is like a user of marijuana and you like to chill while you're abusing your body like that, I think that's the game for you. With PSVR 2's foveated rendering and HDR OLED display, Kayak VR Mirage is looking sharper and more vibrant than ever. Whether you want to take it easy and enjoy the scenery or get your heart rate up and compete in the race mode, we've got you covered. And because paddling is so intuitive, it's a great game to show off your new headsets to friends and family. Well, there you go. I don't know what the hype level is for the Kayak game, but if you're not interested in that Kayak game, if you don't give a shit, I recommend at least look at the trailer. I'm not going to play it now because I've seen it a million times and you probably have too. Well, a lot of you might have, so I don't want to bore anyone. But look that one up. It's a beautiful looking game. Next up is Pavlov VR. And I think this was already confirmed, but a lot of people were saying that it was going to be Pavlov Shack, which is what the Quest has, that was going to be ported. That was in my head. But this appears to be the full Pavlov, the PC VR Pavlov, which is a leap over Pavlov Shack. Let's read about it. This could be the game, the glimmer of hope I was talking about, when the sadness of Firewall Ultra not being on this list could be perhaps mended by this game being on the list. This is a day one title. My phone is buzzing here. Just let me see what the crack is. That nobody's dead. Nobody is dead. Let's read about it. This could be the game that fills in the firewall hole, is what I'm trying to say. The #1 most popular multiplayer PC VR shooter is coming to PSVR 2. So that's right there, opens strongly. That's a strong statement. It is the #1 most popular multiplayer PC VR shooter, so it can't be shit if it's the most popular. Featuring realistic weapon interactions and attachments, and a range of competitive and social game modes. The social game modes is a very interesting one, and we'll read about that in a sec. Take down a failed laboratory experiment that has escaped in an asymmetrical style of one versus all gameplay. So this is describing all the different modes. You know, this game has a lot of variety, it seems. And one of these modes apparently is one person is some kind of a monster while the rest are trying to kill the monster. Another mode, bring 3 friends and queue up for a wave-based zombie co-op. Another one is drive a tank and communicate with your gunner to eliminate a group of Axis soldiers. And this is the one that kind of really got my attention. Use your sharp, wrinkled brain, and I like a challenge because I don't have wrinkles, but I might grow some soon. And power of reasoning to find the bad actors in a twisted murder mystery style of game called TTT, and I believe TTT is Trouble in Terrorist Town or something along those lines, where it's similar to like a werewolves within situation, except you're running around killing people, I guess, where, you know, someone's a bad guy, the good guys have to catch the bad guy, figure out who's doing the killing, while the bad guys have to secretly kill people, you know. I think I've never played this, or I have never even looked up how Pavlov does it on PC. Or you could just clone yourself into the form of a traffic cone and hide behind the storage shelf of a warehouse. It's up to you. That's that other game mode that I can't remember what it's called. But it's kind of popular. What was it, Gary's Mod or something? It has a name. Somebody in the chat will know, I'm sure. Tetris Effect is there, says Tantrum. Chairface says that's a paddling. You better believe that's a paddling. Always, says Rogue. I assume he means that he's always lurking in the canyons. Ace Diaz, how you doing? Pavlov, and he's pumped about Pavlov. Nice to hear. So it's only a month away. How crazy is that? You don't have to wait long at all. Tasnik Gaming says Kayak is going to be fantastic. That Norway Storm is amazing. Can't wait to see it. Darren Green says, I have £70 on my PS5, but have Gran Turismo and Resident Evil Ace. There's not much that interests not much that interests me. Probably wait for new PSVR 2 games. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. And I think there'll be more to come. I think there's going to be some bangers announced later on in the year. That's the hope. Kayak looks phenomenal, says Donnie. And he's excited for Pavlov too. Fozzie Bear is here. How you doing, Mr. Fozzie Bear? It also gives First Contact time to fine-tune Firewall Ultra. Well, listen, I'm sure they'll be fine-tuning this anyway. But it's good for us that we have something to pass the time while we're waiting for Ultra. Darren Green says Cube VR looks okay on PC. SDS says you better start practicing reloading those guns. It's going to be interesting to see how people... there's a lot of complaints with Firewall Ultra that you're not using manual reloading. It's going to be interesting to see if Pavlov gives the people what they want and they're happy with manual reloading, or if they realize, hey, when I'm in the middle of a firefight and I'm whiffing the gun, I'm not doing it right, it's actually annoying, and I would prefer a button press. It's going to be interesting, personally, for me. I'm not one way or the other yet, so I guess I'll learn myself which way I prefer it. Dyson says the devs originally said Pavlov's Shack was going to be ported to PSVR 2. Glad it's the PC or VR version. So there you go. That's where I heard that from. I knew that was in my head from somewhere, and it looks like it was official sources that said that. Tasnik Gaming says, hey to all in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. I'm very surprised that Pavlov is launch window, but Crossfire Sierra Squad is not, says Muzz. It's not even launch window. It's day one. It is day one. You can check the description of the YouTube video. It will tell you February 22nd. At least that's why I think I got it from. Zach the Lego Maniac says hype levels intensifying, as they should be. As they should be. Alright, let's keep reading. Next up is Puzzling Places. If you're into puzzling games, this is for you. We'll read this quickly. I'm not too big into this personally. I'm not a puzzle man. All puzzles are too simple for someone like me. Puzzling Places brings relaxing and wholesome 3D jigsaw puzzling to VR. Well, it's a jigsaw game. Alright. It's award-winning, so it was already out somewhere else. Sharper visuals and, you know, haptic feedback and all that stuff. Very good, very cool. Oh, this has price. $20 dues. The others don't have prices. That's interesting. That's the first one to have a price listed. Song and the Smoke Rekindled. We knew this was going to be coming. I guess we didn't know when it was going to be coming. Oh no, we did. We knew this was a launch day title. That was announced by the developer on Twitter, I think. So, kind of not really news unless you were... Well, I suppose a lot of people weren't really paying attention, so they might not have known about this. So, news in that way. Synth Riders Remastered. Kludge, I don't know. Interactive is excited to announce that a remastered Synth Riders is coming to PlayStation VR 2, delivering the best version of the game 2 days, launching alongside the new VR headsets. Our PlayStation fans are in for a treat. With remastered visuals, nuanced controller haptics as you ride the rails. As you ride the rails, baby. Headset feedback for in-game obstacle feedback, next-gen performance, and SSD optimization to dramatically reduce load times. Players will have a deeply immersive and seamless gameplay experience. The remastered version is a free upgrade for everyone who owns PSVR version of Synth Riders, including all music DLC already purchased. Not a game for me, but let's give them a round of applause for the free updates. And not only that, for the DLC that's also coming along free. Beat Saber could learn a lesson from this. I'm not saying that Beat Saber are charging, but you know, they could come out and have confirmed this. Because I believe that's a big question people have about Beat Saber right now. Great Tantrum says, I forgot about Crossfire. Looks like a nice year one lineup for first-person shooters. Pavlov, Ultra, Crossfire. We're not going to starve. We eating good this. We're eating better than we ever did on the 6 years of PSVR. In terms of first-person shooters, I think year one is already beaten. Obviously, these games could be trash. I don't know. But let's say they're going to be good. Then it's going to be beating out the entire PSVR 1 library. And that's why it's so exciting. The leap in quality, the ports that we're able to get that we couldn't get before. I mean, it's all happening. It's all exciting. It's all happening. Our smooth brains don't allow for puzzles, says Daniel. Or no one knows, I should say. Ace Diaz says, I got Pavlov on the Quest and I'm a beast with this. Get ready. PSVR players, Ace is coming through to get you all. I believe there is crossplay, but I don't know how it works with like Shaq. Because Shaq doesn't have all the modes, so obviously you can't crossplay all the modes. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's not crossplay. But could have sworn there was. Sorry for the pause. I just feel like I'm going to burp, but it's not coming. Maybe I'll just like vomit in a few seconds. Darren Green says, if we get Grid Legends on PSVR 2 will be great. It's out on PC. Well, at least we have Gran Turismo to wait, to tie us over until more racers come. Maybe you're not a fan of Gran Turismo and kind of how... I don't know if you call it a simulation game. I suppose it kind of is. But if you're a fan of the more arcadey stuff, then it might be able to tie you over for a little while. Great Tantrum says, I wonder if Alvo is getting VR 2 upgrade. It is. Or do you mean a free upgrade? If that's what you mean, then I don't know. I do not know. But I do know it's coming to PSVR 2. Tasnik says, you kind of knew Synth would be there to compete alongside Beat Saber. It's nice to have options. Fantastic to see it. The experience in Synth is awesome. I think that was one of the games of Decepticon I really enjoyed, making some tunes and whatnot. Synth Rider seems okay, but if there was a multiplayer option or a game like Rock Band, yeah, Rock Band would be excellent. Like Rock Band type game, Guitar Hero type game would be great for VR. Guys, and Alva will be on PSVR 2. Whether it's a free upgrade or not hasn't been announced. Indeed. Borderlands 2.3 Wonderlands, says Darren Green. I don't know if that's a question or if he's saying something. I'm not sure. Darren. Chopped is here. Says, sup, brother? Hanging and banging, brother. How you doing, Chopped? I hope you're hanging. I hope you're banging. Muzz says, vomit from excitement. Don't you do that? Do you ever get so happy you just throw up all over your loved ones? That's what I do. If the pumpkin patch doesn't know me as Daniel by now, it's their fault. Listen, we got some new people are joining the patch lately, so I have to like introduce you, you know. Chop says, can barely hear you. You're the first person to say that. You're the first person to say that, Chopped. Everyone else has been saying, well, Donnie says my voice was alright, the audio was okay. So if anyone else has audio issues, let me know now so I can try and fix them. But I'm conversing with people for the last half an hour. So I think it might be on your end, chap. Your speakers could be messed up, maybe. Fix your speakers or get the marijuana out of your ears. They're clogging up your ears. And D says, I would like to see Assetto Corsa come to VR2 for a real simulation. Now that would be worth buying. Listen, if you're the kind of person who has a wheel at least, you know, you're going to want as many racing games as possible to make that purchase worthwhile. SDS says Alvo is going to die when Pavlov launches, I guess is what he means to say. It remains to be seen. We don't really know anything about Pavlov. Like, what if it runs like shit, you know? There's lots of bad things that could happen. I mean, let's not count the chickens before they hatch, but still I'm excited. Plus, we don't know what kind of upgrade Alvo could have on PSVR 2. It could be a greatly enhanced experience. We'll have to wait and see. Volume is good, says Donnie. Sound okay, says Darren. Audio's excellent, says Tasnik. Yeah, and Chopped. I think he just comes in to talk shit like that. He just makes it up. And Roy Schwartz peeping through the blinds. Look behind you. All of you look behind you right now. Really, look out your window. Roy Schwartz is peeping. He's watching. Next up, we got a screenshot. Oh, this is Thumper. Thumper was part of this announcement. I missed it completely when my excitement, I was scrolling. This was a launch title for PSVR 1, so it's kind of cool to see us returning. Become a space beetle on a rhythm action. Well, we know what it is, don't we? What's the addition? On PSVR 2, the 4K visuals per eye, well, 2000 per eye, 3D audio, and PSVR 2 Sense controllers haptic feedback deepen the immersion and monumental dread. Get ready to feel every satisfying thump and punishing crash. Thumper will leave you bruised, battered, and hungry for more. Well, there you go. Thumper fans, get hype. This next one, not for me at all. It's if you're into American football, very excited for you, very happy for you. There is a game called NFL Pro Era coming to PSVR 2. If that's what you're into, not for me. I'm sorry, not for me. Maybe make a sport game that's, you know, applicable to the entire earth instead of just one country. Nobody else cares about it outside of that country. No, just a thought. Speaking of sports that nobody cares about, baseball game What the Bass, this is called, although it's not really a sports game. What the Bass is, it's a whimsical slapstick comedy from the people behind the anti-golf golfing game What the Golf. It's a bit like What the Golf, except instead of golf, it's all about baseball. And it's in virtual reality, and you have bats instead of hands. Get swinging, champ. In a series of increasingly absurd minigames, What the Bat challenges you to live as a modern-day Batgirl. Shooting, cooking, smashing, swinging. Cooking? That's that you can't say that in 2023. Painting, picking, and even petting. You have to pet a dog with baseball bats? I don't know if that's ethical. Is that ethical? Peace is going to be on the phone momentarily. Experience fully immersive silliness in a first-person experience like no other. Let's give this a peep. See what it looks like. It's going to be one of those like I Am Toast type games. I'm going to turn it down a bit. Yeah, we got some... It's an indie looking situation. Could be fun with the tracking though, you know? Games like this on PSVR 1 were just... The reason they didn't work... Well, they worked, but the reason they weren't as satisfying for me personally is because the tracking was always an issue. But, not going to be the case on PSVR 2. Alright, I think I've seen enough. It's just a bunch of random nonsense, really. But, you know, there's a market for that too. Great Tantrum says, your sound is good. Someone might need to turn their volume up. Thank you, Tantrum. You hear that, Chopped? Probably doesn't hear us. Tasnik says, I'm intrigued to see how many games will utilize the rumble in your headset to full effect. Sounds awesome. A great feature. I hope as many as possible. Darren Green says Skyrim update time again. I would say that's not too likely because Skyrim, Bethesda are now owned by Microsoft and they have no interest in virtual reality unless they feel like it would be very easy to do, a very easy way to make money, a very minimal effort. They might do it that way. But if it wasn't for Microsoft, I have a feeling that Fallout 4 would probably be on this list as well. So Just another reason for me to despise Phil Spencer. Great Tantrum says, it reminds me of American Dream where everything is done with guns. Here everything is done with bats. I know that game. I never played it, saw the trailer, but it looked entertaining enough. Borderlands for PSVR 2, question mark, because I didn't play it on PSVR, says Hawk107. How you doing, Mr. Hawk? Unknown as of this moment, Hawk. We'll have to wait and see. Next up, Res Infinite, another launch game. Another launch game. Thumper, and now Res Infinite coming back. Let's see what it does differently. A thrilling journey of sights, sounds, and shooting action, except this time in PSVR 2 with eye tracking. You can track and aim at enemies using your eyes. And haptic feedback from the controllers and headset feedback. So headset feedback also included in this one. Tasnik, I think it was Tasnik who said that. So there's another game for you. Experience 360 degrees of mind-blowing synesthesia. Synesthesia? As you blast your way through waves of enemies and massive transforming bosses with your every move triggering colors. Yeah, well, we know what it is, kind of. This one does give a price, though. $10 dues. Res is also playable in standard TV mode on PS5. Owners of the original will be able to upgrade. Oh, you upgrade for $10 dues. Alright, so I shouldn't be skipping ahead like this. Not getting the full picture. But I have it now. This is interesting. Bit of a dodgy move. I don't know how we feel about this. I know Sony got a bit of flack for games like Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, charging $10 dues for these kind of things. But listen, at the end of the day, they're going back to the back catalogue, digging up code from 2016, and adding these kind of cool additions, eye tracking, you know, the rumbles, the haptics. And for the low price, relatively speaking, the low price, I mean, if I want to buy a snack box meal, I'm talking around this price, maybe a bit more. So for the price of a takeaway, a fast food takeaway, not bad. Not bad. Chop says, gotta bounce, smash that thumb, hope you all having a great day. He comes in here, he tells me my volume's too low, it's not too low, and then he leaves. What kind of sick games is he playing? Deadeye Dance's volume is fine, Chop needs to stop smoking on the house, it ruining all his electronics. That's what it's doing. Chopped, have a good one. Take care. Muzz says, so far I have Resident Evil 8, Gran Turismo 7, and No Man's Sky waiting to jump into VR with. But now I gotta add Pavlov for a PvP shooter. All my bases are covered. Exactly. I had a tweet out the last day asking, you know, what order people are going to be playing their day one games in, and now I've got to fit Pavlov in there. I put it ahead of Gran Turismo 7, I think, because I don't have a wheel. I put it ahead of Switchback, I think, as well. But not ahead of Horizon and not ahead of Resident Evil 8. But still, I think it could be the game that we spend a lot of time in, the most time in, because you can just dig around and have a lot of fun in a game like that. Edify, Tell I Die. Long time no see. How you keeping? He says, fuck Rez. Darren Green says, be interesting to see how much of PSVR games get upgraded. I'm not paying for Moss again. Yeah, you do have to pay for Moss if you want it again. Luckily, I'm not too interested in Moss. I played the first one, just wasn't for me. I'm not a platformer man, so I don't care too much. But yeah, fuck Rez, says Edify. Pavlov is good news though, so he's happy about Pavlov. The volume is low in comparison to other YouTube videos. In comparison to other YouTube videos. Well, don't be watching other YouTube videos, alright? Just watch this one. Deadeye Dan says, oh, never mind, that's for someone else. Tantrum says, I hope Media Molecule will bring dreams to VR2. There was so much potential for the game creator title. I hope they will too. I can't imagine what other future does Dreams have if it doesn't move along to the next generation. And that includes VR2 as well. But I do have a fear that Sony are going to shut down Media Molecule. Because I don't know if they're making them any money. I have Volume Max on YouTube Player and my Mac. Other videos, I can't do that. It'd be too loud. Okay. Well, at least you can hear me. You know? Yeah, like the other videos I was watching. You got us. Tetris Effect will be nice to revisit to see what they do with it. Maybe haptics and even more stunning visuals. We'll talk about that in just a sec. And Keen Bean, how you doing? Says, very hyped for Before Your Eyes. There we go. This, like, I'm trying to get new information from people who've played Before Your Eyes. Apparently it's very good. Was hoping for this, but wasn't holding my breath. Such a fantastic surprise. Now one of my most anticipated games. Day one for me on the 10th of March. So it's not a day one game, but it is coming out 10th of March. Thank you for that. Keen Bean. I'm going to look up reviews because it's already out on something. I don't know where it was released before this, but it was somewhere. Was it on PC viewer? But I have a feeling it wasn't a viewer game until recently, until this one. Edify Till I Die says absolutely is not an issue. Just chiming in on the other guy's comment. Thank you, I appreciate it. I do appreciate it, Edify. It made moist critical cry. Well, there you go. That's a big YouTuber. Made him cry. Of course, I couldn't do that to the Pumpkin Patch Kids. We're too tough, too emotionally stunted to cry. Tetris Effect Connected is coming. What can we guess? We skipped down. Today we're excited to know Tetris Effect Connected is coming to PS5 and PSVR 2 on February 22nd. It's day one. With eye tracking enabled, another eye tracking game, you can enter the zone by closing and then opening your eyes. Ah, that's interesting. I wonder if you have to do it for like a certain amount of time, and then when you open it, because obviously a blink wouldn't be long enough. You can also feel key moments of the game and your actions through headset feedback and haptic feedback on the DualSense controller. These enhancements deliver a truly unique Tetris experience. The game is also playable on PS5 without a PSVR headset. Owners of the original will be able to upgrade for another $10 due situation going on here. So that's 2 games in a row now where they wanted 10 fat ones to upgrade. Although I'm sure this one does look amazing. HD or OLED 4K could be worth it. Creed Rise to Glory, another PSVR 1 game. But this one is called Championship Edition. In partnership with MGM, we are excited to confirm the return of Creed Rise to Glory with Creed... I'm not reading Creed Rise to Glory 20 times. We're thrilled to pair up again and expand on what Creed... Oh my god, how many times are they going to say Creed Rise to Glory? Don't make me say it again. Fights have never felt more visceral, and we intend to deliver an even more immersive boxing experience, only possible with the hardware and features of the PS5 and PS4 2. I'm not saying it. Returns you to the ring, this time with a fresh set of gloves. Experience brand new game content, new modes, settings to create a more immersive and personalized experience for new and seasoned Creed players alike. Additionally, Championship Edition players will have the opportunity to truly test their skills in a reworked online PvP with optimized matchmaking and cross-platform play. Creed 3, the third installment of the hit franchise... Don't advertise a movie to me at the end of a blog post. Come on, what are you doing? What are you doing, TQ Jefferson? Probably doing his job, but still. The Last Clockwinder. This is one that I'd never heard of. I don't know if it could be out in other... It could be ported from other headsets, but I never heard of it. The Last Clockwinder is a puzzle automation game about making synchronized contraptions out of your clones. You play as Jules, a young woman, and blah, 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 blah. We just skip to anything interesting about PSVR 2. There isn't really any details about the PSVR 2 itself and how it's utilizing it. This brings our current launch window lineup to more than 30 games, with hardware and software available beginning the February 22nd, 2023. Here's what we're tracking, and then you got the full list of games down here. And it's a sizable situation. I think we can be relatively happy with the launch lineup. The first month on PSVR 2 is strong. You can't deny it. Players in the United States can get ready for launch by pre-ordering directly. Okay, we already know about that. As more games confirm their launch window availability, we'll add them to the list. See you February 22nd. Then we got a couple of caveats. Final launch software lineup subject to change without notice, and check PlayStation Store for local pricing. So it could be different where you are. So yeah, that's the situation. That's how things stand right now. Let's take a look at Pavlov, shall we? What are you doing? Let's say I was born in 2000. I'm a young, supple lad. The 24th, we'll say. We'll enter. Don't tell anyone I lied. Look at this. I actually forgot to play this. I meant to play this earlier on. I don't know why I skipped this, but we'll play that in a sec. Edify says, you still working with First Contact for the community? I'm technically still a moderator for them, but I don't really do anything. So Yeah, I'm in touch with them and stuff, so hopefully be more active as Ultra gets closer. Edify says Ultra's feature trailer looks pretty damn amazing. It does. And I've noticed none of them games talked about finger tracking, which was an interesting omission. I wonder if it's not as fun to use in certain games. Chairface says no Firewall Ultra at launch. Sad face. I know, Chairface. It's not easy, but it gives us something to look forward to, doesn't it? And it's confirmed as a 2023 game. So keep that in mind. Like last week, Sony put out a trailer saying what's to come in 2023. Firewall Ultra was featured in that alongside Spider-Man and all these other kinds of games. So it's coming this year. Its launch window though, right? Question mark. Depends on how you define launch window. Some people would give it as long as a year. Some people would say 6 months. This article considers it 1 month. So it depends on who you are to call it a launch window title. Must says, yeah, we're too tough to cry unless Firewall Ultra was announced. Stay in one. Then the waterworks begin. Keen Bean says, sounds like they want us to buy Creed again to me. Creed? Ultimate Edition? Champion? Whatever it was called. I can't. Rise to Glory. Hawk says, Pavlov versus Ultra ? That's what it's going to be. That's what the situation is going to be. I can see. Because last time it was Alvo versus Firewall. I think Pavlov. Because we've no word on when Alvo is coming. Yes, or it could be a three-way situation. It could be Alvo versus Pavlov versus Ultra. King Bean says, might pay up. I'm not big into the boxing games, or boxing in general myself, but if it is very fun, check it out. Hopefully Creed is a free upgrade. That's a sweaty game. I say they would have mentioned it if it was a free upgrade. And the fact that they're advertising them, they're plugging a movie at the end of that makes me think these guys want all the cash they can get. Nothing free from these lads. Darren Green says, stay away from that trip door because there's something down there. What the hell is he talking about? I don't know what you mean. He must be talking about some game. Ultra won't have Team Deathmatch and is more search and destroy like Siege. 2 different games. That's true as well. That is very true. Plus, it sounds like Pavlov has all kinds of like wild and like wacky games. What is that fucking game where you turn into an object? Prop Hunt. As Prop Hunt, it has TTT, which is like a werewolves within type situation. So it's a very different situation. However, they're both multiplayer first-person shooters with, set in modern combat times. So they will be compared a lot. Whether you like it or not. Unless First Contact surprises us with Team Deathmatch mode, you never know. You never know. They have they've answered a lot of player requests with dedicated servers, best of 3 rounds. Team Deathmatch was one of the most requested things, so you never know. Edify Till I Die says, if they have a Team Deathmatch this time around, they might take the cake for first-person shooter, but they're an exclusive though too. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. They do have the polish. They got the Sony money, the Sony polish. I get my fix for first-person VR in Alvo currently. This trailer does look sweet, and I will watch this trailer in a second. I just want to catch up on the comments. That said, Firewall Ultra would have this PvP versus PvE. Don't really understand the comment, Donnie. I apologize. Mine is here asking us to smoke the weed up. But if we do that, we'll damage our speakers. Remember what happened to Chopped. Glad you're still around. Hoping they give you some alpha, beta access. That would be cool. Hess, if you're listening, I'll slip me a code. I'll say nothing. Slip me a headset as well, so I can actually use it. No problem. Don't worry about it. Hitman ? We need a Hitman update. Would be excellent. And it did win Game of the Year, VR Game of the Year on Steam, even though everyone's complaining about it because it doesn't have the full motion controls experience. So I don't know how much IO Interactive actually care about Hitman VR. Tasnik says, which is definitely what it needs to be. Strong, I mean. That will be what sparks off a great purchasing spree for Sony PS5 utilizers Let's go, peeps. 22nd, not far away. Hey, wow. Tasnik. I love Tasnik's energy. Gray's energy. Minus. Oh, Minus is stuck around. He normally pops in and pops out. Minus, how have you been? It's been like 20 years since I was chatting to you. I hope you're well, and everybody you know as well. Edify says, currently I believe the devs for Alvo are working on graphical enhancements, and that's the last bit, but I could be wrong. So there you go. Once we see an Alvo trailer for PSVR 2, it could all of a sudden make Pavlov look trash, or maybe even well, I doubt Firewall Ultra, because Firewall Ultra has that money. But they could really wow us, you know. We have to wait and see. Chairface, he was talking about trapdoor. What trapdoor? I know he said tripdoor, but I assumed he meant trapdoor. But what trapdoor? I don't get it. Edify says, I like that Pavlov has World War II mode. That's pretty sick. Medal of Honor vibes. That is in the trailer. We'll get to that in just a sec. Spell check. Rogue says, hopefully we'll see contractors in PSVR 2. Most Firewall players prefers over Pavlov. Decepticon was talking to me about contractors today, but what I've been hearing is that contractors relies heavily on kind of like mods and stuff like that, which might not work out so well on Sony's walled garden situation. Mo says, 40 watch and hit the thumbs up, people on PSVR 2 or PSVR 2 is cancelled. Thank you very much, Moz, and hello everyone watching. King Bean says, I think IO care about Hitman 3. I think it's definitely coming our way. I hope so. I want to see an updated control scheme take full advantage of being able to have properly tracked motion controllers this time, instead of worrying about the dual shock. I'm here, brother. I got to get moist as Minus. That's what I like to hear. Ultra is Sony's first person shooter, baby. We're not seeing better polish than that for sure. And keep in mind, they got the foveated render. They got all the bells and all the whistles on Ultra. And Star Wars STWU? I don't know what STWU is. That's not Star Wars. F-Man says, Minus, I'm keeping it family friendly. I miss all you magnificent bastards. Thank you very much, Minus. Getting emotional in the chat. Tasnik says, nice to see everyone in the chat today. A great stream. Thank you very much, Tasnik. And with that, we can catch up on the trailer. Start from the beginning. Can I full screen this without technical issues? I think I can. Let's go. I said, let's go. So straight away, you're putting on attachments manually. It's a very hands-on game. You can see a little wristwatch situation here where you got your stats and whatnot. But, and this is a deal breaker for some people, it looks like it's floating hands. Floating hands situation instead of full body. We've got a shoot house mode. Looks like a squad of 5. Manual reloads. Functional scopes. Look at that. Look. Why does this not work? Go back. When I say go back, I mean go back. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, Alvo did it, yes, but you know, you got a lot of other polish going on top of that. Nighttime environments, the lighting looks pretty nice. And I've never watched Pavlov properly on PC, so I don't know how it compares. I assume it's very similar to PC, but this probably blows the shit out of the Quest version. Blows it out of the water. Which I have actually seen screenshots of, and it's very blurry and, you know, still good for the Quest. Like, what the Quest is able to do is impressive, but yeah. I'm sorry I'm pausing it so much, but everything's kind of like, damn, that's cool. Damn, that's cool. Let me go in slow-mo. Why won't the controls work? That's... Let me... where's the slow-mo? Let me go half speed. And let me mute that. So you're manually pulling back the bolts on your sniper rifles and the fucking shell casing popping out. I'm sure that's very satisfying. And then you're stabbing lads. You're holding a knife. Your melee attacks are not a button press. You're actually shanking lads. Prison style, I imagine. while he was reloading his gun, he got stabbed. And over here, this lad's getting his head popped off. We got blood spray on the walls. This is actually something you don't see in many, like Firewall doesn't have spatter on walls. That's something that puts up your age rating. So they kind of avoid this. I don't think Alvo has this, but correct me if I'm wrong. More manual reloading, and then just like kind of fun interactions you can have. You know? Just hold on a second. Let me go back for this. Just watch the fingers. Is this finger tracking situation going on here? Just the way the fingers kind of slowly open out. That looks very natural. What do you think? Planting bombs, manually typing in the numbers. Prone. You can go prone. Oh, look at this. Come on. You're disarming the bombs by actually using the snippers, cutting the wires, the red wire, the blue wire, dual wielding. And here you have the World War II. I don't know, is it a mode? Or a wasp bus? There's like a lot of variety going on. They got everything. The old-fashioned grenades. You're driving a tank. You're driving vehicles. Holy shit, what doesn't this game have? What doesn't this game have? I feel like I should put the sound and full speed back on now, though. It's kind of feeling lonely now. I can't see the chat in full screen. Zombie mode. Not sure about that trumpet. Sounds like there's something wrong with the trumpet. But other than the trumpet, I think that was an excellent fucking trailer. Like, I'm really hyped about that. And I was not paying any attention at all. But it looks sick as hell. Where was I? Darren Green says, I would pay for Hitman upgrade. Good game. Listen, if they put the work in to make it, you know, fully compatible with PSVR 2, taking advantage of all the bells and whistles, and if you're happy with paying for Tetris, then absolutely, I'm not going to complain about Hitman. Rogue says, what the fuck, you never learn. What did I do wrong? Uh-oh. Absolute garbage, says Reality Sven. A load of mini games. Why can't we get some fully fledged third-person games? Third-person games in VR? You want third-person VR games? Listen, Pavlov doesn't look like a bunch of... Well, it kind of looks like a bunch of mini games, but they look like fun mini games is what I'm saying. Darren Green says, not all things in life are free. Reality Sven says, yeah, hands up, who's excited for Tetris at VR? Nobody, then. Not me personally, but look, it's a visual, it's a treat for the eyes, Sven. Not everything is going to be for you, but there's nearly 40 games. There has to be something here. Has to be something here tickling your fancy. Oh, STWU. He only says this every time he's here. That's why he says you never learn. Now I'm going to pretend I remember what it is, and then we'll move on. Darren Green says the team work hard on Hitman 3. Smoke that weed up. That's what it is. I was just looking at it. I was like, hold on a sec. I know what that is. Smoke that weed up. There you go. Visuals look awesome in Pavlov. Not a game I've never played, to be honest. Had a go in Shack, but just stayed in the shoot house bit. Haha, says Taznik. Well, this looks like it offers quite a bit. Will it have mod support, says Chairface? Unlikely, unless the developers put some kind of back-end work situation, but then Sony would have to approve. It'd be like when Skyrim and Fallout 4 brought mod support to PS4. It was like a weird, it had to be a curated kind of selection of mods, you know? Edify Till I Die says, I do like that blood spatter. Alvo does not have that type of animation. Taznik, we skipped down too much. Tasnik says, will definitely be worth checking out, I reckon, especially to tide us over to Firewall Ultra. Exactly. Exactly my thoughts. Rogue says, about contractors versus Pavlov. Pavlov modes have, user assets. TTT has Minecraft environment, etc. Base contractors is pretty good. Pavlov modes have user assets. Does that mean like the developers like incorporated user stuff into the game? I don't understand what you mean by that. Pavlov looks like a very hands-on looking game, exactly. A very virtual reality game. You know, if you're using motion controllers, they want you to really use them. Which could be excellent, which looks fun, but then in practice, maybe it's frustrating. I don't know. Maybe when you're just trying to reload your gun and there's like two guys coming around and you're missing the magazine well on the gun, you're just getting annoyed. But maybe the tracking is going to be so good that that will never happen. Maybe the haptics will like guide you somehow into putting the magazine in right. I don't know. Wait and see, basically. But the fact that it's only a month out and it looks this good, I mean, I'm very, very hyped. This looks amazing. Can't wait to sink my teeth into it, says Minus. Edify Till I Die says, I've only ever played PSVR, so the ability to have full interaction with PSVR weapons and Pavlov and upcomers like Ghost of Tabor is just super sick for immersion. Can't wait. Exactly. I'm in the same boat as you. I've only ever played a PSVR headset. That's the only type of VR I've ever played. So this is going to be like a massive leap. The people in here who've played Quest, they know what improved visuals look like. They know what proper tracking feels like already. It's still probably going to be better than those, but not by a huge amount. But for us, it's going to be crazy. One more month, and our minds are going to be blown. Rogue says you like TTT. It's like Werewolves Within with guns. This kind of, I've said it's like Werewolves Within because I've looked it up, like what it is. Because people play it in real life, apparently, in like, you know, airsoft games and whatnot. So I kind of got a gist of how the rules work, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Right up my alley. That's what I said immediately. And that's like the main thing that caught my eye when I was reading out the description. So yes, that's something I want to play. I can see that being streamed a lot on this channel. It doesn't have hookers, says Deadeye Dan. Well, there you go. We have to dock us at least 1 point. At least 1 point. Damn at all the modes, says Donnie. Darren Green says, all is good in the world with Gran Turismo 7 on PSVR 2, so I'm happy. There you go. So many people happy with just that. Pavlov looks great. The character models are nice and move around without any jank. We have to keep in mind, it's a highly curated video. They're not going to like show off jank if it is there. But yes, you were right. That does look very good. Doesn't look very janky. But remains to be seen. I hope we get to see gameplay before launch. I would pay for it, says Keen Bean. He's talking about Hitman, but they gave us the PS5 upgrade for free. I reckon it will be a free one. I hope so. That'd be nice. Minus is crying right now. He's getting very emotional today. Keen Bean says, I'll pay $10 for Tetris. £10, I should say. Less hype for Res, though, for 10. I think PS5 upcharge prices are affected by sales, though. I think the Uncharted Collection upcharge was reduced. Reduced from what? Pavlov has custom game modes. Think I played TTT was stupid chaos. But listen, I'm happy with stupid though. As long as it's fun. As long as you can have the lols and the bants. 34 days to go, says Zach Wilder. I can't wait for the 22nd of January because then it's just going to be like a month. You know, even though it's going to be a little bit more. But you know what I mean. Edify Till I Die says, Werewolves Within was one of my favorite Friday night games. Everyone smoke that weed up and drinks and has a good time, full of laughs. Such a great concept for VR. Wish it got ported. Movie reflects the player base. Remember there was like a bug that they never ever fixed, which was frustrating. But anyway, lads and ladies, we've reached the end of the news show. A special live PSVR news report, which I hope you all enjoyed. We had to give Jordan Peterson a break tonight. He's suffering from a sore throat. Great show today, says Edify. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So I just want to thank everyone for showing up. And if you put a like on the video or whatever, that would help considerably for some reason. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, stick around. I'm going to be covering all PSVR 2, etc., etc. So mind yourself, stay safe. Obviously, I don't need to tell you to be moist, because you're all moist. I can see it. And I'll see you in the next one, which hopefully won't be too long away. Hopefully there'll be more news dropping left and right as we get closer and closer to launch. Goodbye.
What the fuck is this?